No, you can't see my head. Sorting this out. I've not done a sew along from here before, so I am just getting used to kind of where I put things. You're kind of losing part of my head still there. I'm just eating some birthday cake, which the team amazingly got me yesterday from a lovely bakery near where Rosie lives, Blackberry Bakery or something in South London. It's amazing. Anyway, I'm rushing to eat this so that I don't get hungry during the sew along. And we are doing the sew along for the Estelle dress, Hello in Greece, which I am wearing. Here it is. This is the lovely tie. I did want to do a little how I tie it. Maybe I'll do that at the end if there's time, although in black it doesn't really show very often, very clearly. So I am making the Estelle dress with you guys today. Hello, hi there, for my birthday party on Saturday. Nothing like last minute, is there? Oh, so nice to see so many of you. Oh, hi. We've got Sewalong joining us. Thank you for the birthday wishes. Hello, hi. So yeah, it was my birthday on, come on then, Poppy. It was my birthday on Sunday. It was a big birthday. I just turned 40. And because it was a big birthday, the celebrations are just continuing. Yes, the big party's this weekend, and on yesterday I walked into the office and the team had just decorated the whole office for me and got me some lovely presents and cake, and then randomly we'd already organised a trip to the theatre. So we went to the theatre, so we've had the loveliest time. Anyway, waffle over before I do also. One reason why I'm a bit rushed is because I've had my hair done. I've had hair extensions put in for my party. And the lady did them this morning because it was cancelled, and if you follow me on Instagram you'll have heard me moan about how I couldn't get it done. And anyway, I've now got it done and I've got like the longest hair. Can't really see with this black, but all ready for my party, which is Oscar themed. So the Estelle dress that I'm making is in a sparkly fabric because it's Oscar themed. Now by Oscar themed, it doesn't mean that you have to go as somebody who would go to the Oscars, as in a actress or actor, but more just glam enough that you could be at an Oscar party. So we're going glam. This is the fabric, if you can see it there. It's quite sheer, a bit worried about that. I'll work something out. And I have made some alterations, so I just need to say that I have scooped things out. So this moving my luscious locks out the way. This neckline here, I prefer a wide neckline. This is very much like the Edie. Now the Edie top is in our work to weekend, but all I did, if I show you the pattern piece, you can just lay, if you've got the Edie pattern, you could just lay that on top and then just retrace the neckline. But if you don't, you can see that is the shape of my neckline. It's slightly wider, so the shoulders are narrower, and I've also gone slightly deeper, just because I really like this part usually to be on show. So that's that. Oh, annoying iron beeping. And I've also, risky, scooped out the back as well, so that it's a bit lower. And the plan was I'm going to do my hair, curl it a bit more, and I'm going to have it sort of pinned round and down like that. So I thought it'd be nicer to have a bit of a barer back. So that's how I'm making it extra glam, but it is very much a wearable pattern every day. So Rosie was wearing hers yesterday. We were wearing them at the Knit and Stitch show in the day. This is a lovely cotton jersey. Yeah, great with tights and boots. But then also I made a version which is on my Instagram if you want to have a look at it, at Lisa Comfort. That version I made for Lisa Lex from By Hand London, her wedding. And so you can have a look at that, and it's like made out of this liquid jersey, and it's beautiful, silky, shimmery, like, yeah, gorgeous. That's my backup dress if I don't like this, by the way. which is a bit worrying because I need to get it dry cleaned. So no, anyway, never mind. So right, what I'm going to do is I cut everything out, but I haven't cut in my notches. So I'm just going to do that. Those are really blunt. And what I was hoping we'll do today is the front section, definitely, because I think that even though you'll see it's quite simple, that is the section that scares people, because they look at the pattern piece and go, whoa, that's a weird shape I've never seen. And you'll notice with the front pieces, you are cutting them out on the single, which is also quite unusual. But because it's an asymmetric dress, you do not need two. You don't want a pair, it wouldn't work. So, there we go. So that's that one. So that is your front piece. I'm just going to take those out. Whilst I'm doing that, let's chat about what the Sewoverit team are wearing to my birthday party, because it's going to be a bit of a handmade extravaganza. Rosie, am I right in thinking you're wearing the Ravello in a kind of maxi hack or something? We'll see what Rosie's wearing. I know that Jemima has made the sissy. Oh, I'm right. Wonderful. And I think it's quite spacey fabric, isn't it? Alma, I'm not sure. Alma's not gonna be making a new dress, bless her, because she sews a lot, and she's like, I'm gonna wear something I've already got. But yes, so Jemima's making the Sicily dress, or has made that, which is a really lovely bias cut dress. And she's made it out of silk, I think, or maybe viscose, I can't remember. So we'll definitely have to get some photos, won't we? What other handmade dresses have we got coming? There are some of the old Sewoverit crew coming. So some of you might remember Alex, who used to do our social media. Alex is coming. Some of you who've been here for a long, long time will remember Georgie, who's the first person I ever employed. She's coming. And then so is Rachel, who used to work for us, and she now runs the fold line. I'm not sure if Kate's also coming from the fold line. And Steph, who used to work for us in the shop, she's also coming. I think that's everybody. But yeah, and then Julie, our wonderful pattern cutter, she's coming, but I don't think she's made an outfit. But yeah, so it should be a really glam affair, and I will try and share some images of it. If you haven't followed me yet on Instagram, follow me on at Lisa Comfort, and we will make sure we share. I'll share some of the things from the party, but I'm sure this dress will appear on Sewoverit when it's finished. Nothing like, I'll probably have to try and finish it tonight because I'm so busy with party celebration-y bits. Okay, so I know I should have done this before, I'm sorry. Sorry guys. Let's move that out of the way. The sleeve, I don't think we're going to get to. We do probably need the tie though. And I was a bit naughty and lazy, and I did cut two, even though you only need one. But I had the fabric folded to cut out the back pieces. And I just thought, oh, and the sleeve, because you need a pair of sleeves. And I just thought, oh, I'm just going to cut two. The space, and this is the sort of fabric I'm not going to probably wear again, save for anything else lengthwise. It wasn't, so I thought I could just be a bit lazy and cut that. Okay, so we've got enough kind of bits to get started, so let's get started. Now I should say already I have made two of these before, and I probably am going to make it in a slightly different order, and the reason for that is because I don't want I want you guys to see interesting bits. So I want to make sure I do the front with you. Okay, so let's start off with something easy. Let's just do the tie, because we're going to need the tie to sandwich it into the front. So let's just do the tie, then we'll do this section, and then we'll do joining it all together. So the seam allowance is 1.5. Now you can use a zigzag stitch, you can use a lightning stitch. I actually, in some parts, have been using just a stitch length of 3 on all of the dresses that I've made, because they've actually find that on my machine, stitch length 3, just a straight stitch, has enough stretch. Certainly in something like the tie, it's been absolutely fine. So it also means it's a little bit quicker to sew it up. So I'm going to do that today on these bits. But I wouldn't do that on the hem. I wouldn't do that on the neckline. I wouldn't do that on the hems of the sleeves either. I should also add as well, I have altered these. I have made that slightly narrower on me. So I've got quite skinny wrists, and I did take that in, just so you know, if you've got wrists like me, you might want to take that in. So try the sleeve on before you hem it. Okay, so we're just getting to the corner there of the end of the sleeve, and we're just pivoting. Okay. I saw your comment, Sal, about that. I don't actually know who that is, but thank you. I'm going to look her up. I did see that you put that on my Instagram. So I'm now just going to trim off by putting my hand over the stitching so that I don't accidentally cut them. I'm just going to trim down the seam allowance at the end. Now you can trim this down all the way round, but because my fabric is quite lightweight, I think the structure of the seam allowance will help me give it, press it almost. I'm not yet sure what's going to happen when I press this fabric. Probably should have checked that before I went live with you. Nothing like discovering something together. So I've cut the corner off there, I've trimmed the seam allowance down there, cut the corner off at the other point, and now I'm going to just turn that through. And if you had fabric that was very pressable, I would be suggesting that's what you do now. I think I need to go and get a tea towel. Oh, I've actually probably got some scrap of fabric I can press through. And I'm just using a pin to pull those corners out. So put your pin into your seam and pull it out like that. Sorry about that noise, that's James just bringing the bins in. Okay, like that, there we go. I'm gonna put that to one side. You would then, yeah, press that flat. I think what I'm gonna try and do is I'll press that in one go when I press this next seam. So when I stitch this seam, we need to do some pressing, and we'll just do that in one go. Just stop me going back and forth. Okay, so is that it? Is that what? Yeah, it is. So what we're going to do is we are going to take these front pieces. So you've got the front skirt, and it is a bit of an odd, let's just move those out of the way. It is a bit of an odd shape. Let's see, so pull it down there so you can see. The camera. Okay, let's take the camera off the little tripod. Orientation is blocked. Okay, so now, is the sound good? Yes. Confirmation from someone else. Is the sound good? Back. Okay, great. It's obviously something on the tripod. So let's try this. Yeah. Is it okay now? Slight delay. It's back. So over at Peeps, can you confirm that it's okay now? Yep, back. Okay. Sorry about that. Technical issues. So what I was saying to myself is that, yes, that was the seam that runs like this. And we're going to pin that seam there. So that's the seam that runs through the waist from the front bodice and the front skirt. Rosie's just giving you a tip, guys. Anyone watching this and it's out of sync with the sound, if you just refresh your screen, it should sync back up. Okay, we have got a notch there. So we'll need to line up that notch there. Poppy's licking the sofa, standard. Now, what we're going to do, even though this seam does come all the way down there and it comes all the way around and to here, like there, we're only going to stitch this side because then we can press that side really well, and so we'll take that opportunity. So we're going to just stitch this long top bit first, okay? So I'm going to do the 3 mil stitch length again on this because it worked fine on my other 2 dresses. Make sure you reverse at the beginning, and then see if I can move that in like that. Oh yeah. Keep seeing all the mess in the mirror behind me that's bugging me. It's not actually, it's the mess that's on the table. There's no mess over there. You can just maybe see my giant pink balloons, the edge of my pink balloons, my 40 balloons. Chazzy chose for me. When I came down on my birthday, they were in the living room here. You notice what I'm doing, the way I hold this fabric, because it is stretchy. Don't ask me what the composition is, I have no idea. It's from Borovik's in Soho, and but it is a sort of, it's a knit. It is stretchy. It's definitely not going to be the comfiest to wear, but it is slightly softer on one side, on the wrong side. But yeah, I don't want to stretch it. I really don't want to. You've got to be very light-handed when you're dealing with jersey. So obviously the machine is going through the machine at the speed that it should, based on your foot pedal. But you still need to, obviously, if I did this, it would go off, wouldn't it? So we're holding it on the seam allowance, which is 1.5/8 of an inch, but we're just delicately, I'm just holding it like this, so that I'm steering it as delicately as I possibly can, with still having the same effect of keeping it on the seam guide. But I'm not stretching it. I'm really trying hard not to stretch it or to handle it too much. So we're getting to the end there now. So we've stitched that, and we do need to press that. Now, what have I got here? Gosh, on the floor here, it's all collapsed, is my amazing stash of fabrics that I got from the stitch show, the knitting stitch show. There was so much good stuff there, and I really did spoil myself. But do you know what? I haven't done that kind of shopping in ages, so I've got some curtain lining fabric that would be perfect as a pressing cloth. So we're going to use that. So, joining this 40 Club Sal, wonderful. Okay, so I'm placing this here on the ironing board, and I'm going to press it open. Now I'm going to have to come round because I think I need to be from that angle. Let's put Mr. Iron on to a lowish setting, says she. I've just put it onto the hottest. If I'm going through a pressing cloth, I don't have to have it too low. And then what that will mean is I can put the steam through. Let's turn you here. I can put the steam through the pressing cloth, and that will help press it open. It may well be, because it's so synthetic, it may well be one of those fabrics that just doesn't press. Let's find out together. I'll put that on. So I'm just going to press that open, hold that open like that, place this on top, keeping that pressed, and then, come on, Mr. Iron, give me what you've got. Let's see. I've turned the steam on, so the steam is coming through. Yes, it's pressing really nicely. Can you see that? Oh, good. I'm chuffed about that, because I was thinking, oh God, it's going to have bouncy seams, and yeah. Now the only thing I need to worry about this dress is the see-throughness. I am actually going to wear, I've got those amazing short spanky things, very Bridget Jones vibes, but that they come up to like here, and they're like shorts, and they're great for tight fitting evening gown things, because they just hide all, or you know, they keep everything smooth. I'm kind of hoping that because I'll have that on, that will be okay. We'll find out when I try it on. At least it's not going to be in the daylight. My party starts at 7:30, so it's not going to have like, oh, in the light it looks more see-through, because there won't be any light by then. So the team yesterday, amazingly, Jemima and Alma very kindly made me this incredible backdrop. You know, at red carpet events, you have like those sponsored boards behind where all the celebs stand and get their photos for the magazines. Well, basically, they made one that says Lisa's 40th on our large scale printers. And then I bought some red carpet from Amazon, and I've also bought some like little fake kind of trophies, Oscar trophies. I'm going to get people to take photos of themselves in front of that little selfie corner, which should be fun. Okay, I'm just pressing this tie that we did, just giving that a press. So I'm trying, it's quite tricky, but I'm trying to pinch out that seam and pull it to the edge. So the seam's on the edge, and that just crisps that up. Okay, back to Mr. Sewing Machine. Let's turn this there. Okay, hopefully that's not knocked out the sound again. Oopsie. Just have a bit of tea. So now we're going to finish that seam. So we're going to carry on. So right sides together. Let's pin that little short end first. And then here. Let's pin that. So at that point, I keep thinking it's the underarm, but it's not. But at the point here where it's like there's a strong curve, you've got a notch. So just use that notch, help you line up. These pins do not want to stay in this fabric. Very annoying. We've been chatting at we had a lovely team meeting yesterday where it went on and on and on, which doesn't always happen, but we're not always all together, but we were all together in the office, which was amazing. And so we had a lovely team meeting, and we were coming up with ideas and stuff, and I love it when we do that and we bounce ideas off each other and things. It's really wonderful. It's the thing I miss most in the lockdowns, because we couldn't all be together. And whilst we ate chocolate cake, best thing ever. And one of the things we came up with was we wanted to do some Q&As. Now, Rosie, did we say that we were going to do the Q&As on Instagram? Live Q&As. So I think the Q&As, what we thought we'd do is we'd ask questions, and we're going to do them specifically about topics that we felt after speaking to so many people at the Knit and Stitch show. of things that would really help you. So it won't be just like ask us any question, and we'll do them on themes, and we'll do a series. And we're probably, I think, did we say, Rosie, you'll be like, Lisa, we're not doing it till the new year. I think we said it might get lost in all the rush for Christmas, but it is something we want to do because we felt like we were getting asked a lot of the questions. We were going to do things, Rosie, what were we going to do them on? It was going to be about things that kind of questions to do with dresses, sort of choosing garments that you feel are right for you. So not what people like Trini and Susanna say, oh well, if you've got this shape you can't wear this, but more like choosing things like choosing the sewing patterns that you feel happy with, and realizing that just because a sewing pattern has an element to it that you feel shows part of you in a way that doesn't make you feel comfortable, there's ways of changing it. So we're going to do that, and we're also how to know what to make if you can't try it on. That's also, we get asked that a lot. We get asked about fabric. I get asked about that a lot, like how do you choose fabrics? That's a massive minefield, isn't it, colours? But we would love to, well, not a minefield, but just like a big topic, but we'd love to be able to talk a bit more about that, and maybe from a personal thing, so I know what colours I put together and why, and how they suit me. And same, Rosie will have the that for her as well. And then if you're on the newsletter mailing list, you will know that we're doing loads more sew-alongs. This is just the first of many this autumn. So we felt like, one, we're all more inside now, and two, the world, especially here in the UK, it's all a bit bleak. The cost of living crisis, various political stuff, everything that's going on in the world. We just thought, do you know what, we could all do with a bit of a cheering up and a good old sew-along. Nothing like a bit of sewing to cheer you up, and also a bit of escapism. But then I realised I can't have loads more clothes in my wardrobe. I was like, I'm making so much every time we make a new pattern. So I was like, why don't I make something for the team? So each time I'm going to be making something for the team, and hopefully that team person, I'll be doing it normally in the office, will be with me. And we can talk about why they've chosen the pattern, and maybe also whilst I'm sewing, we might just have a little chat about what how they choose things for themselves and that sort of thing. So we're going to have more chatty sew-alongs where we'll be talking to the team as I'm sewing, whether it's before, we'll need to work that out, but about kind of what they've chosen, why they chose that fabric, what was it, not necessarily about the quality, but why did they choose that print, why did they choose, how are they going to wear that in their wardrobes, all those sorts of things, to help give you guys some more ideas, more confidence. That's what our overall feeling from the show is, that we need to encourage you guys to have more confidence in your ability to sew. So many people implied that they couldn't sew well and then told us all these different things that they had sewn. That sounds really good. And also confidence in choosing your projects. Okay. Oh, Coco. Coco's crying at the door. Come on, darling. In you come. Poppy's in here too. Poppy's just had her haircut, so she's looking very smart. Right, so that is now stitched, and I have turned it through and foolishly not yet, oh hi Coco, not yet clipped into this. Coco, move. I need to clip into this curve. Can you see how it's just pulling? So I'm just going to flip that round and clip into it. And you can clip up through that notch that sits in that acute curve, but do obviously be careful that you're not going through your stitching. If you just snip into that, it will release it and it will sit better. Okay, so that also needs a bit of a press. I'm just going to, for speed, just press this bit open, and the rest I'll press later because it doesn't matter. But this does need to be pressed open because that's going to be joined at the side seam with the back. So we'll press that. Just quickly do that. Press that open. Coco is now trying to find more food. I swear this cat is the hungriest cat I have ever met. She just cannot stop eating. She has been wormed. She's just a greedy cat. Move, darling. And she was on a diet. I think she's lost a bit of weight since we moved out to the countryside because she plays more in the garden. But yeah, she doesn't eat quite as much as she used to. That's gone cold now. Right, so Coco, darling, you need to move out the way. We're going to now take... Oh, thank you. Coco, someone's just said you're beautiful. Did I put... It looks like I've trimmed those. So I'm just going to take this off now, which is the back. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put the front to one side. We're going to join the back bodice and the back skirt. And then we're going to join them together so that at the end of this, what I hope is we will at least have the structure of the dress, and then all that will be left is to put the sleeves in. Very easy if you've made any t-shirts, anything like that, so easy. And then the neckband, the neck bias binding. So that is my back. So it's slightly low, but it's not so low that it will, what I didn't want it to have so low that then it could potentially make this loose at the front. And obviously I also want to cover my bra. So it's just something to think of. I should also say, forgetting that I've made other changes, I have made it even longer. So this length of the Estelle is, oh Christ, yeah, that's right. And I am making the version that is without, slightly narrower, without the slits. It is a midaxi, I think is what you could say. Midaxi. So it's a midaxi. So it's in between a maxi and a midi. But I'd like this to be maxi length, or just above my ankle. So I wasn't quite sure exactly, but how much to add, but I added a bit more. I think I added 8 inches. And I am also, I should say, making a size 10. My measurements, I feel like I should always talk about this on Sewalongs because that will really help with what people were asking about, is how do you decide what size to make and and what size are you in the shops and compared to what size you are with Sewoverit patterns. Just whilst before I do that, showing you this. So that's the back, and I'm taking the right sides together and just going to pin those together along that waist seam. So I am a size 10 on top for Sewoverit, and then usually between a 10 and a 12 on the bottom, and that's because of my bottom that sticks out quite a bit, so it needs a bit more space. It's not because of my hips. So my hips are probably same to a size 10 in terms of width, but my bottom is curvier, and that means that often the extra is not needed on the front, it's needed at the back. That's just something to think about. So when you measure around yourself, it's not just about that number, it's about where does the extra sit. So my around me is 38.5 to 39 inches. That's what my hip is. And because my hip is not particularly wide, the widest point is indicated by my bottom, I always measure my hip sideways on, facing a mirror, so that I can see where's the most protruding part of my bottom. And so often what I need to do is add extra into the back, but not into the front. And that will keep the side seams in the right position, because if I add extra to the front as well, it won't still be enough. If I divide it between the front and the back, it won't still be enough for the back, if that makes sense. So I've gone off on a tangent about fit, but I'm making a size 10 in this because that it's stretchy, and also because I like things fitted tightly. Now, that is another factor to think about when you're deciding 1.558 of an inch. When you're deciding what to wear, what size to make, how do you like your clothes to fit you? Do you like them close fitting? Do you like them loose fitting? Because it's not just about the pattern and the finished garment measurements and the ease that they've put on, and you know that you know, you can't just sort of go, well, those are my body measurements, that's great, I can fit that size. That might be a close-fitting garment and you don't like close-fitting garments, or it might be a baggy garment and you like things close-fitting, so you size down. So one thing I think might be quite useful, just thought of an idea, Rosie, is for us to talk about ease and what is close fitting. So only because of what I do for a living do I now know what ease relates to close fitting. So for example, let's not talk about knit and stretch, because often that's negative ease or just exactly the same as your body measurements. But in woven things, ease is the extra that's added on top of the body measurements to make the garment comfortable to wear. And different garments need different amounts, because something like a coat will always have layers underneath it. Something like a t-shirt won't have loads of layers underneath it. So it depends what it is. It also depends on the style of the dress. But something that is close fitting as a guide, if it is woven, anywhere between 1 and 2 inches ease is very close fitting. So if your body measurement is say 30 across the bust and the finished garment measurement is 32, that's a close fitting garment. But I think that sort of information would be really useful for us to share. So let's add it to the list, Rosie. Because we actually were looking at the Jessie Coatigan, because I really want to make a couple of those, and I'm going to actually make one of them with you guys in the Sewalong. And it's got so much ease, and I think it's got a lot more ease because it's oversized, it's the style, than I would wear. So if I made a size 10, I think that would be too big for me and my style and how I like to dress. So we're probably going to make an 8. But all those sorts of things are really useful if we share them, aren't they? So we're going to start sharing it more. Right, we've stitched that. So now I'm just going to, I'm going to press this open. Now I think the next step in the instructions is to do the shoulder seams and then do the neck, because it's easier if the side seams aren't stitched to do the neck binding. So this is where I'm going to divert from them, because I'm not going to do it in that order. It shows you that you don't have to do it in that order, but I should say it would be easier to do it in the order we suggest in the instructions. The reason why I'm doing it like this is I do want to just finish the construction of the main body of the dress and how you put the tie in. So that's why I'm going to do it like that. So that's your back. Okay, obviously yours won't be as low as that. And then what we're going to do is we're going to put our back and our front right sides together. And you can see the tie is coming down to that side. That's the side that will need the tab tie that we've sewn here. That will need putting in. So I'm just going to pin the other side first. So you've got your underarm seam there that you're lining up, and then we've got your waist seam. So your waist seam on your dress, on the front of your dress, and the waist seam at the back will meet at this side seam. So fabrics that are good for this dress: cotton jersey, obviously that's what I'm wearing. Bamboo jersey, we've got some bamboo jersey online, that's also good. Viscose jersey, Rosie had one on yesterday, in viscose jersey. I use what's called liquid jersey for the dress for Lisa Lex's party, but wedding. This is obviously like some kind of lurex jersey. So really anything with knit and stretch. The only thing is we did get asked about ponte. I'm just going to stitch this. So from the top, always from the top down towards the hem, 1.5 centimetres, 5/8 of an inch. So we did get asked at the show whether Estelle could be made in ponte or French terry, and I said no. And the reason why I said no is because this tie would be so bulky, wouldn't it? It would just be really, really bulky if that was in ponte. And it's just going to make a big chunky knot, and you're not going to get this. And I think it will just sort of add bulk to the waist, and I don't think that would do any favours for the design. So I would steer clear of those knits. No sweatshirting, nothing super, super thick. It's not meant to be a really thick fabric. We've brought it out now because we were hoping that some of you will be like, oh, Christmas party. Wear that for Christmas Day or my Christmas party. And what's so great about, if you're normally not used to wearing tight dresses and you don't like that feeling of it being kind of tight over your tummy, I don't and I wouldn't, but it's not like that because it's got all of the gathers and pleats from the kind of asymmetric tie, and it really makes you feel much more confident at that part if that's something you're not confident with. So, I should say I'm still using my stitch length 3. I'm probably going to use it for everything apart from, like I said, anything that's going around the hem or the neckline, because actually the waist seam doesn't stretch that much because it doesn't need to. It's looser and it ties tighter. I feel like I literally, she finished about an hour ago and I haven't had a chance to look at it properly. So it's quite bizarre just seeing myself in the screen with all this hair. Okay, that's done. Now, I feel like it's boring for you to then watch me iron that, but I would press that open because it's easier to do that. I'd press that open now if I wasn't doing this with you. So do that. Then move on to the next side seam. Now for the next side seam, I'm going to pin it just there, just get that together, just at the top there. Always think about how you're going to have it on the machine, all the extra fabric to the left, open on the right. And we do need to pin this together, but we also need to pop in this. So this tie goes like that. So if you think that would go down towards the hem, you've got to put it, sandwich it between your two pieces there, and it needs to sit centrally across the seam. So you can fold it in half if you want to, and then where the fold is, that needs to sit on the seam. And what I found easy is if you put a pin in at that point where it's hitting the seam, then that pin will help you line up the front waist seam onto that pin, and that way you know your two waist seams are lined up because they're obviously got the it's sandwiched in between, so it's harder to see. When I've got a seam pressed open, I always pin either side of the seam allowance where it's pressed open, so that I keep that pressed openness, the seam pressed open basically, when I'm coming to it with the machine. So I'm going to pin those, and then I'm going to pop my hand in and I'm going to remove that pin that was only in one side. Then just pin. You need to make sure that your tie bit is lined up there, so all the way to above. So the top half of the tie above the seam allowance is pinned in place, and then the same for the bottom half. So just put some pins, quite a few pins in that section, just to make sure that that tie is really held in. Okay, then I'm going to fill in the pins from there. So you can see this dress really does come together quickly. So probably after I finish today, it's going to take me an extra hour. I know I'm so fast, but an extra hour to finish the neckline, put the sleeves in and do the hem. It's a kind of dress that if you're a speedy sewer, you can make in 3 hours easily, you know, including cutting time probably. It's one of those dresses that you can make and you can think, I've got nothing to wear in my wardrobe. I really need something new. Oh, in that case, I shall just sew something. Before I had Jasmine, I used to do that all the time. I'd get home from work and I always had a stash of fabric at home and I'd just make something new for the next day. Am I lining it? No. I've realised now, I completely forgot that I was meant to go to M&S and buy a flesh coloured slip. However, I have got lots of flesh coloured slips that we use, that we use for shoots. So I think I've got one that I can use. I generally don't line things. I often just use a slip. Now this dress, as fun as it is, I don't know, I might wear it on a New Year's Eve party, but it's not going to be a dress that I'm going to wear loads and loads and loads. So I'm not going to spend the extra effort, money, time to line it when I know that a slip will do the job. If it was something that I was going to use a lot and it would, you know, make it more comfortable to wear, easier to wear, that sort of thing, then I probably would. So I will be back next Wednesday, and next Wednesday I am making the Nomi dress, I believe, for, oh no, my bobbin ran out, but it didn't run out too far away, so that's all right. I'm making it for Alma. So tune in next Wednesday at 1 o'clock. The other weeks, I think the week after that, I'm not yet sure what day we're going to do it on. We also wanted to do some in the evenings. We wanted to do one at least in the evening. So yeah, we will confirm what time that one, but next week is definitely on the Wednesday, all being well, as long as I'm not ill or anything, but that will be on Wednesday at 1 o'clock, the same as this one for the Nomi dress. So I think, Rosie, have I done the Nomi dresses of Sewalong before? I think I did, but I did the twisted top, didn't I? I'm not going, or a twisted version. I'm not going to do that. So I'll probably try and do a different part of the dress. I need to think about that. Yeah. It'll be the other version this time. Okay, great. So if you're going to like the front cover version of the Nomi dress, that's the one that I'm going to be making. So you can tune in to see me make that. And obviously, if you can't tune in, then it will be, you can watch it in your own time afterwards. So because my thread ran out, I just overlapped a little bit. I didn't actually go back and forth because I stitched directly over. That will be fine. I didn't want to create a bulky section in the seam. I can hear you, Coco. I can hear you through your little nose. Yes, that noise wakes us up in the night. Coco sleeps under our bed and you can hear her little tiny nose breathing. So they've got such small nasal passages. Okay, I've been a bit naughty and I haven't done any of my trimmings off, but what I'd like to do, you know, I like to try things on. I'm going to do those, and then I'm going to see if I can try it on over this dress. That'll be a bit weird and bulky at the waist, but we'll see. I saw someone just said, what happened to the Lisa Comfort channel? I think it's still there, but maybe it's not. But I'm not putting anything on it at the moment. If you're interested to see more stuff, I'm using just Instagram at the moment. But Lisa Comfort Home no longer exists. I closed that down now. Just realised I haven't actually cut down the back enough. Can you see the difference there? So I'm going to have to trim off the back shoulder a little bit. Just pin them from the armhole. That part shouldn't be affected. It's the inside of the shoulder seam that's affected. Okay, and I'm just going to trim that off. It should be still. I need to go down it deeper. Now obviously you'll be like, oh my gosh, aren't you going to draw it first? No. I'm going to do it by eye. It's only a little bit, just that amount. Okay, I'm going to now just stitch those. So these are 1.5 centimetres, 5/8 of an inch again. Little shoulder seams, nice and easy peasy, lemon squeezy. I've got a lot of pressing to do after I finish this live with you. I've not done any of my seams. Made my life a little bit fiddlier doing it all in one go now, but never mind. Okay. Ta-da! We've made a dress, guys. We've made a dress. Okay, I'm going to take that out. We obviously haven't put our sleeves on. We obviously haven't finished our neckline. It's going to look odd this because I'm basically putting it over a black dress, so it is going to look a bit see-through. But just to give you context, which you know I like to do, okay, so obviously it wouldn't look as grey as this, but there it is. Ta-da! We've made, in less than an hour, we've got this far. So you can see that just finishing the neckline, popping the sleeves in, that's all that we need to do. So have a great week, guys. Make sure, like I said, tune into my Instagram if you want to see the finished look. Sorry, no, I wasn't using a walking foot. And yeah, I'll be back next Wednesday for Know Me with Alma as well. So thanks so much, guys. Thanks to Rosie for answering questions, and we'll see you soon.